What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today I have actually been asked to do an update to my collection video, and so I got to give the people what they want, so that's what we're going to do today. So stay tuned and we will go over my collection. All right, welcome back, everybody. Okay, we're going to do an update. I've had quite a few people ask about this because I have been buying quite a few knives, and they're trying to figure out which ones I still got, which ones I don't, that the new ones that I've gotten. So first things first, let me kind of close this. This is the Apache 4800. It's kind of like a knockoff Pelican case. It's been working out great for me since I've had this thing. It has the pill pluck foam, as you can see here. And so I've almost got it filled up. I have a lot of knives off to the side that I don't put in this case that we'll be talking about as well. But for the most part, all of my knives stay in this and a Blade XQ roll. And that's where some of these to the side come from. So, all right, let's get started so this thing doesn't take forever. The ones that are actually not in this case as of right now is I have the CRKT CEO. We're not going to go over everything, but this is kind of a gentlemanly knife, on the budget side. So fits in your shirt pocket like this, where it looks like a pin. So very nice little gentleman knife. I don't carry it as often because I have other things that I carry for gentlemanly, but very great option for somebody on the budget. Next one, which is one of my favorites as far as the budget world, is the CRJB Centros. This thing, for the money, absolutely can't beat it. This one is in the D2. This one, oh man, I'm telling you, I have really fallen in love with CRJB, this one and another one that's in here. As far as being on the budget end, 35 bucks, these things are absolutely amazing. So if you're looking for a good budget option, this is one, CRJB Centros. Next, one of my other budget knives that I really like. CIVIVI is an excellent company that has so many different options, and I've had a lot of CIVIVIs. This one is the Praxis. This is a bigger knife on the budget scene, but so much. I mean, this thing is a worker. You can see there. I put this thing into some use. I really love this thing. Deep carry pocket clip. I love the green. It has gold backspacers. Well, I'm not not backspacers, but liners. Not exactly crazy about that. You can get it in different configurations, but this is a super nice, very well designed budget knife in my opinion. I really have enjoyed this thing. A couple other budget knives. Obviously, the famous Ontario Rat #1 and the Ontario Rat #2. These things are awesome knives. If you don't know about these, it's kind of crazy because these knives have always been on those lists of great budget knives. Very ergonomic, very heavy duty blades, especially the Rat 1. The Rat 2 just a little bit more so on the smaller side for me, but really great knives. This one is actually my only Kershaw as of right now. This is the Kershaw Bare Knuckle. This is the Smoky Mountain Knifeworks exclusive in 20 CV. And is this, this really nice knife. Comes super sharp, in my favorite steel. It's got that really cool integral frame lock there. It flips out with authority each time. You got to be careful not to keep your finger on the lock bar, but really well designed knife, especially with this steel. This is a super good option. Deep carry clip, made in the USA. So really nice option there. And then the last one that I don't really keep in the case, and it's really for one reason only. It's a big sucker. This is the Cold Steel Voyager XL Tanto. And really cool knife, just a big beast of a blade, and it's true cold steel fashion. It's just super razor sharp. I don't carry this knife often, but yes, I do carry it in my pocket sometimes. It is, of course, kind of ridiculous, but I do. That's how much knife sticks out of your pocket, so it's just crazy. But I love this knife. It is super fun. A little pocket sword, so definitely stays in my collection. I like it a lot. All right, so some of the ones that are in the case. Another CIVIVI. This one is really one of my favorite. I just love these things. This is the Rustic Gent. So it is kind of a traditional looking knife. It's a backlock, It has a half stop, and it's smooth black G10 and carbon fiber with D2 blade. That's awesome clip point design with a fuller that I actually can open this knife with one hand, just rolling it out like that. So really, really like this thing. I do have a lanyard on this because it doesn't have a pocket clip. It comes with this little pocket sheath that does have a pocket clip. So getting this thing out of my pocket is not the easiest whenever I don't have the lanyard. So if I have the lanyard, it just pulls it right out, and then there we go. So definitely like the lanyard on this guy. Super good knife. These are around 67 bucks, and man, I don't think you can beat it. All right, I'm gonna go top down, left to right, don't really know. Let's start with this little guy right here. This is the TRM Neutron. Absolutely 100% one of my favorite companies, Three Rivers Manufacturing. They are some great, awesome people. This is the Neutron. They have another one, which we'll go over in a minute. Very, very EDC gem right here is what this is, according to Mr. Nick Shabazz especially. This one is wearing a set of scales from Match Anderson, which makes this thing super freaking sexy, and I really, really love it. It is a liner lock in 20 CV thumb stud. It is an excellent slicing beast and very lightweight for your EDC carry. Love that thing. Since we were talking about that, this is actually the one that I carry the most as far as out of there, because it just fits my hand better. This is the Atom. This one has nested liners, and it's also in 20 CV. So super, super slicey blade, fits my hand. This is the bigger version, so I really love this. This is the knife that takes the place for something like the Bug Out for most people, for me anyways, because it is so light. I can put it in gym shorts. I can put it anywhere because this thing is so light, and I absolutely love it. This one came with the blue scales, but I ended up purchasing the red micarta scales, which I really, really love. Next one. This is the Giant Mouse Ace Sonoma, and this one has a custom anno job by my awesome brother from another mother, Mr. Scott from Big Bore Knife and Gear. He did this with the symbol on there. Excellent, excellent blade, M390 flipper, great action on this guy. Very, very, very good. I mean, I think these things go for like $265, so they're not cheap, but they are very, very well made. Highly recommended knives. This thing is super sleek, super easy to carry, and I really, really like the anno job on this because Scott is just an awesome dude. Let's see. This is the other CRJB that I was talking about. This one's called the Felspar. The Felspar and the Centros are just two the knives that if you're on a budget and you want a good EDC knife, I just don't think you can go wrong. This one is nested liners like the Atom. The action on the CRJBs remind me of the action on the Atoms as far as thumb stud deployment. So if that tells you anything, and these are like 35 bucks. So really can't recommend these enough. Contoured G10, D2 blade, deep carry pocket clip. You get a lot for your money. They feel like much more expensive knives than what you are paying. Let's see, one of the newer ones here that you will, oh my goodness, drop around. One of the new ones here that you'll see a review on shortly is the Protech Mass Drop Mordax. It's kind of confusing. But this is a button lock flipper, and Protech has just really impressed me with the automatics that I have. They also come out with a Malibu, which is a button lock flipper, and they really know what they're doing. This thing is a fidget magnet. I love it so much. The ergonomics is great. Big finger choil, blade shape. It's just a really cool knife. If you're looking for a button lock flipper, definitely look for Protech, or look to Protech with the Mordax, especially the Malibu. And there's a couple other different options if you want to know. I think there's like 4 different ones. If you want to know, go check out Jake from Bearded Gear. He did a video of all 4 of these, all 4 designs together, and which actually made me want to buy the Mordax. So I've really been having fun with this thing, and a review to come. Also a review to come, my all-time favorite front flipper now. This one is the Artisan Cutlery Centauri. This one is in titanium and carbon fiber. Review on this to come. This is a frame lock. I would call this action a frictionless action, not even false shutty. This thing is super, super just nothing to be able to actuate this thing and to close it. Once you get past that detent, it's just boom. Very, very light knife. Full review on this guy to come. I am really loving this thing so far. Artisan Cutlery, Centauri. And then, of course, we have our Chris Reeves Large and Cozy. This is the plain model with the Tonto blade. Chris Reeves knives do not need any introduction. This was one of my knives that I wanted for the Holy Trinity, which was Rick Hendurer, Mick Strider, and Chris Reeves. And this was the knife that I chose for my Chris Reeves knife, and I've really been happy with it. It is such a great, great, smooth hydraulic. It's just one of those things you really can't appreciate until you put it in hand. Not everything I like about it, but most things I really adore about this knife. We have the full review on this guy to come as well. Let's see, next is the Cold Steel 8015. This thing is super fun. This one is sporting the Scorpion lock designed by Andrew Demko. This knife was designed by Andrew Demko, but this one is produced by Cold Steel, so it has S35VN steel, aluminum lock bar here, G10 steel liners. A very beast work knife. This thing is actually fidgety with the Scorpion lock. I know a lot of people don't like the Cold Steels, even though they're very, very well made and strong, beefy knives. They're not fidgety, but this thing makes it fidgety, and it is so much fun. I'm trying to do it underneath the camera, but you can actually flick it out, kind of like a, just open this up and whoop. So can't do it in front of the camera, but super fidgety and really fun to play with. Really love this knife, the 8015 from Cold Steel. This was my first Protech automatic knife. Golly, I love this thing. Is the Protech Magic Whiskers with the bolster lock mechanism. So you have to slide this over, and it comes out super hard, super fast. Very easy to pull down and close. Very intuitive. This is an absolutely fun knife to carry because a lot of people don't know how to open it. So you give it to them, and they're like, "What the heck? How do you open this thing?" And you're like, "What? What do you mean?" So very super fun. Deep carry pocket clip. This was the knife that started it for me for Protech because, dang, very, very well made. This one is my one and only Medford as of right now. This is the Medford 187 drop point blade HQ. Blade HQ. Oh, sinful. Sin for me, Kyle. DLT exclusive. This one is in 3V with the flamed anode titanium scales and the kind of like the bluish purple. This knife was one of the most expensive knives that I had bought at the time. Really, I just love big overbuilt knives, and this kind of fit in my wheelhouse. I love 3V steel, so the DLT exclusive just kind of called to me. Really cool, beefy, overbuilt knife with a tough steel, which I really, really love. But Jake from Bearded Gear does not. So definitely go check out that video. You'll get two different views on this knife, which I think is awesome in this community, because I let him borrow this. He did not like this knife, but it's great. It's a great review. This one is another budget knife that I had never heard of until Mr. Scott over Big Bore Knife and Gear sent this to me, and holy crap, Free Tiger FT903. This thing is amazing. And the price? $25. This action is superb. The G10 handles are contoured with this little ridge in it. The flipper action detent is amazing. I can't stress to you enough how much, and you can buy these right now on Amazon. This thing is just super, super quality for the price. I can't get over it. So definitely, if you're looking for a budget knife, check that one out. Oh, one of my favorite Benchmade knives. This is the Benchmade Super Freak in M4 steel with that awesome layered G10, the black and gray G10 with the red G10 liners and barrel spacers. Super, super fun knife. Really, I mean, just one of my favorite offerings from Benchmade right now with the M4 steel. The way this thing is tuned is perfect. It really works great. Fits my hand. It's like the size that I like. So definitely recommendable knife here, the Benchmade Super Freak. Here is one of the members of the Holy Trinity. This is the Renderer XM18. This is the 3.5-inch slicer version. Really, really great knife. Just did my full review on that, so if you want to see, definitely go check that out in my on my page. So very, very nice, 100% made in America by Mr. Rick Hinder. These things are amazing, and they one of their slogans is make it your own. You can change everything on this knife if you want to, as far as scale, the color of the hardware. So I mean, the possibilities are endless. And this one, of course, has the tri-way pivot system, where you can run it on bearings, phosphor bronze, or nylon washers. Super cool, innovative design by Mr. Rick Hinderer. Another one of my favorite Benchmades. I just picked up the same knife. Another one of my favorite Benchmades is the Benchmade Crooked River. This is the full-size Crooked River, so it is a big knife. But man, I really love the way this thing looks. It performs at clip point blade. Very, very just stylish knife, I think, with that pressurized wood and the aluminum bolsters in that color. Really, really cool knife. You know, obviously in their Hunt series. Very comfortable in hand. Very, very recommendable knife. They also make this in a mini version, which I think more people would actually enjoy, because it is very long. First Spyderco knife ever purchased. The Spyderco Tenacious. Rocking some copper scales just because I could. So, very first knife. This thing has been sharpened so many times. Definitely, for today's Tenacious, definitely I couldn't recommend this knife over some of the other budget options, to be honest with you, because it still has the 8, where'd it go? The 8CR13 MOV steel. Just a lot of better options out there as of right now, but this was the knife that kind of started it for me, and I will never get rid of this knife because of that reason. This is the bigger brother. This is the Spyderco Reliance, so just a longer version, basically, of the Tenacious. This is a beater knife, definitely. It's got, you know, a big old long 4-inch blade there. Matter of fact, it might be longer than that. I can't remember. So you can reach out and touch somebody, or get those bigger tasks done. So basically, just a long, elongated Tenacious. This one is the really, really awesome. Love this knife. Just got through doing a review on this. This is the Protech Strider collaboration SNG in aluminum and 154 CM. Very awesome. Protech makes the best side opening autos out there, and this thing is sweet. Love this. Love the ergonomics of the Strider. Super cool knife. And of course, speaking of that, I did end up purchasing a real Strider. This is the SMF, which is the bigger brother. This one is in S35VN, has the flamed anno titanium scale on the back. Just absolutely have fallen in love with Strider design since I've purchased this knife and the Protech. I just can't get over the ergonomics. They really do fit my hand about as perfect as they can get. I know a lot of people might not like the big finger choil and the sharpening choil, which gives you a little bit limited cutting edge, but it doesn't bother me. I really just can't say enough about how these things feel in hand. Super, super nice. Love mixed Strider design. This one is the TS16, the TUCSON TS16. Man, I hope I'm saying that right. First TUCSON that I ever picked up, basically courtesy of my buddy Stud Fishing. He was talking to me about the TUCSON knife market, and I had never bought any. So he actually came up and said, hey, there's one for sale that I think you would like. This design is definitely something that I like, with this really cool blade shape. And it's an M390. I got a really good deal on this thing. I think they're super well made for the price that you pay. This one is especially, I mean, they have some really funky designs, but this one really called to me. I really, really like it. Very smooth action, you know, reliable deployment. And the only thing is I have to get some Loctite to put in this thing, because the pivot does come out. So it does need Loctite, or else the pivot does get loose. But other than that, sexy little knife. Really, really enjoyed it, especially with the materials you get. Titanium M390 for the price. Can't beat it. What do we got here? Another one of my all-time favorites, man. This is the Quiet Carry Waypoint and the Manix Super Clean steel. Manix Super Clean is such an awesome, awesome steel, especially on paper. I haven't put this thing to the test wholeheartedly as far as the edge retention, but as far as the corrosion resistance and the quality of this knife, absolutely amazing. I think it's a great EDC carry for anybody who is in those kind of, I guess, high humidity or salt living on the beach, because this thing is basically rust proof. Has the Manix super clean blade, the LC200N liners, awesome little deep carry pocket clip, wire clip. Man, I really enjoy this knife. Also featured on Mr. Metal Complex's channel. He reviewed this knife. One of the other newer acquisitions is the CIVIVI Elementum. This one is in the copper with coated blade blackout hardware. Really like this knife. Check out my review if you want to see more about this guy. It's about as small of a knife as I'd like to be able to fit in my hand, but a super well made knife from CIVIVI. They make really good blades. This one is my favorite fifth pocket knife. This one is the Mini Sheepdog from KAISER. This little bitty thing is awesome. Has a great little action as a flipper. 154 cm steel. Runs on bearings. KAISER makes some really good stuff. This one fits perfectly in my fifth pocket, and so it is my favorite knife for that. This one is, you will see a review on this coming up shortly. This is the SOG Terminus XR in the S30V VN. So super excited about this little guy. I kind of rode off SOG for a long time, and so I'm in the middle of getting ready to test this guy to do a full review on. So stay tuned for that. This has the carbon fiber laminate over G10, so definitely stay tuned. And of course, the Terminus XR lock, the XR lock, runs like a Axis lock. And of course, if I have the little guy, I gotta have the big guy. This is the Sheepdog XL. Freaking love big beefy knives, and this is about as big and beefy as you can get. This thing is just an amazing guillotine of a knife. And yes, I do carry it because I love it. So I actually have all the sizes of the KAISER Sheepdog. This is the regular size KAISER Sheepdog. And if you watch my channel, you know that this awesome anodization from Mr. Scott over at Big Boar Knife and Gear has made this knife my favorite knife of my collection. Look at that beautiful freaking job that he did. He did a flame anodization on the clip. Just a freaking amazing peak work of art. I just love it. This one is the Brian Lai design amalgam. This was a really cool story. You need to go check out the review on this. Brian Lai was a college kid who designed the knife that Spyderco picked up. Really good ergonomic knife. The only thing people have a problem with is when you disengage the lock, this flipper tab does come in the way and hit your finger. So a lot of people don't like that. Some people have actually done flipper deletes because this thing has a detent that is perfect for the Spidey flick, even though I failed it there under the camera. But the detent is awesome for the Spidey flick. So, and it has a good finger control, which of course you know I like. So a lot of people have done the flipper tab deletes, and I'm actually thinking about doing that with this guy. I don't know. What do we got? What do we got? We got the Spyderco Yojimbo, excuse me. They have a Yojimbo out now. This is the Yojimbo designed for self-defense. Oh, man, I can't remember the deadgum guy's name now. Man, that's good. It's a bummer. There's his logo. Michael Phillips? Shoot. Now I don't remember. Anyway, super cool knife. Man, this thing is so wicked. It's got a stiffer detent than most, which I actually really like on this knife. Super sharp. Really cool design, a little bit different, but man, is it also really fun. Let's see. Of course, one of my all-time favorites, the Spyderco Shaman. Everybody knows about the Shaman. One of the most ergonomic knives that I own. Absolutely love this thing. It is amazing. Also has a little bit of the same deal going on when you release it for the that little tab to hit your finger. It's not as bad on this as it is on the amalgam, though. Of course, the Spyderco, I failed. Spyderco Para 3. This has the skinny mod on it, done yet again by my buddy Scott over at Big Boar Knife and Gear, because he is just a freaking awesome dude. So it has the skinny mod, really comfortable for a tiny knife. I usually like bigger stuff, but for my hand size, that skinny mod, believe it or not, actually made this thing more comfortable in hand. So definitely check that out if you haven't. I did a video on it. I have two paramilitary twos, which is this one, which is the Beto Box exclusive, in the K390 steel. God, oh, I love that steel. Such an amazing steel, an amazing knife. I really love this design. It's been one of my favorites for a long time, which is why I have two of the PM2s. This one is, the action is not as good on this one as it is on the K390 one, but this is the Maximate version. So, love the Maximate in this configuration. Makes for an excellent EDC knife. Almost done, fellas. Stay with me. All right, another knife that I've always been in love with is the Manix. This is the Manix 2 XL, wearing some really cool scales. I can't remember where I got these at, but I just love them. They're just freaking awesome. This is definitely a worker knife. As you can see, it's dirty and all this stuff, so I use this thing a lot when I'm wearing gloves. Then, of course, the Manix 2 Lightweight. This was the second knife of Spyderco that I ever purchased. This one kind of started again as far as all this is a little bit more expensive, obviously, than the Tenacious. And it has the CTS BD1 steel. I learned really quickly that I wasn't a fan of the FRN handles, but I was a fan of the ergonomics of the Manix and of the wire pocket clip. The regular Manix didn't come with that, but from that day forward, I was like, man, that is a nice pocket clip. So definitely love the Manix 2. Love it so much. They also have the regular version. This one is in S30V. It is wearing some carbon fiber aftermarket scales. Just really, really great classic knife from Spyderco that, yes, I do still have in my collection. Another Spyderco, one of my favorites, Spidey Chef. This one is an L2LC200N, which is, so this knife is pretty much also corrosion resistant. So obviously the name Spidey Chef, designed for food prep, and it is such a great EDC knife, not just for the food prep. I love the action on this guy, the detent. You don't have a lot of room to get the Spidey flick, but I have figured out the Spidey flick on this guy, and it is one of my favorite knives to carry now. So super, super cool. One of my pride and joys right here. This is the Spyderco Tuff that I purchased from Mr. Jake over at Bearded Gear in 3V steel, which was the knife that kind of broke me on 3V steel and why I love it now, because of this knife. Super awesome, you know, really funky design, but the ergos, kind of like on the Strider, just work for me. I love this knife. This is a very beastly tough knife, which is, you know, it's called the Tuff, and it's for a reason. This thing's super cool. Love it. One of my favorite knives in the collection. Let's see, we're almost done. Spyderco KoKopar. This thing, compression lock, action, the carbon fiber, everything about this knife is superb. I really, this is named after a red-back spider. You have that red backspacer. It's a super sexy knife. Alistair Phillips did make this for food prep. It is S30V, but it does well for that. You know, it's got a pretty long blade to cut your peppers and whatnot. Super, super great EDC knife with the awesome pocket clip. And then last but maybe not last, this is the Spyderco Swamp, one of my fidget factor overload knives. These things are super fun as far as a button lock. You can open this thing up in so many different ways, it's not even funny. So the Spyderco Swamp is one of my most fidgety knives ever and will always be so, because dang is this thing fun. Definitely go check out my review of this guy, because I cut myself while I was reviewing it and it was super funny. So yeah, go do that. Yeah, I did miss one. This is my first front flipper that I had. This is the CIVIVI XR. Definitely a awesome little front flipper. It's very, you know, smaller than the the Artisan Cutlery Centauri that I have that I'm going to be reviewing. Definitely a smaller knife, but man, this was the first one, and once I figured it out, yeah, I'm telling you, front flippers are so much fun. So anyways, I'm pretty sure that's it as far as my folders, guys. I really appreciate you. A lot of guys started asking for this, so that's why I did it again. So if you like this kind of stuff, hit the like button, the subscribe bell. Wait a minute. The like button, subscribe button, and the notification bell, because I do giveaways every month, and you can win some pretty cool gear. I really appreciate all my subscribers, all of you from stopping by. You guys stay safe out there in this crazy world we're living in, and I will see you in the next one.